Hi everyone, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. My name is Osoreme, and in today's video we're going to be cutting and sewing this beautiful pinafore jumpsuit that you see right now. It is very beautiful and it has a cross back, as you can see. So if this is something you're interested in, keep on watching and let us get started. So for this tutorial, I'm going to be making use of this fabric. It is 100% quality African print gotten from my fabric store, Reme Fabrics, on Instagram. We still have a few pieces of it available. You just need about 3 yards, but you might need more than 3 yards if you're on a bigger size. So we're going to start now by drafting out the front pattern of the trouser part of this pinafore. So I have my fabric folded into two, as you can see. And when you make this fold, you want to make sure to measure to be sure that when you take your hip measurement divided by 4, you still have a lot of allowances left for you to be able to properly draft out this pattern, because it's going to be having some extra allowances. Okay, so once you've gotten this, you folded your fabric into two, we're going to go ahead now and start drawing out our lines. So I'm going to start at the top here by drawing out our starting line. This is going to also serve as our waistline. Now, once you've gotten this waistline, I am going to now take all the other measurements from the waistline. Now, my waist is going to be having a 1.5 inch band. So from the line that I drew, I extended my tape by that 1.5 inch. And I'm going to mark my waist to hip, followed by my waist to crouch depth. For you to get your crouch depth measurements, you can sit on a flat surface like a table and then take a measurement from your waist to the top of that table. That becomes your crouch depth measurement. I'll leave a picture on the screen for you guys to have an idea of what I'm trying to talk about. Now, still extending my tape by 1.5 inch, I'm going to measure down to the length that I want the trouser part of this pinafore to be. So the measurement I'm working with for the trouser part is 40 inches, but I'm currently marking 42 inches right now, so that by the time I'm done folding and everything, it will fall down to that 40 inches that I need. So right now I have my waistline, my hip line, my crouch depth, and then lastly I have the hemline. Now, the waist of this trouser part is going to be having an elastic on this side. I'm going to explain to you guys how to go about that later. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to divide our hip measurement by 4. So whatever hip measurement you're working with, go ahead and divide it by 4. Now, because the trouser part of this jumpsuit is going to be loose fitted, I'm going to be adding some extra inches for ease. So instead of marking my hip measurement here at 10, I'm going to mark it at 12. That means I've added extra 2 inches. So I'm going to mark the same 12 inches on my waist and on my crouch line. So what I'm going to do now is join all 3 points together with a straight line like this. Remember, I mentioned that the waist is going to be having an elastic on this side. So that's why the waist and the hip are currently having the same measurement, okay? So now once you're done getting all of these measurements like I've done here, the next thing you want to do is to come to the crouch line, and we're going to get our crouch extension. Now, to get your crouch extension, you're going to be dividing your hip measurement by 4. For this person, when I divide hip measurement by 4, it is 10 inches. Now, what you're going to do is that 10 inches, I will divide it again by 4. So when I divided 10 inches by 4 again, it gave me 2.5. So from the line that we drew earlier, on the crouch line, I came out by that 2.5 inches, and that becomes my crouch extension. Next, from the crouch line, you're going to go up by 1 inch from this point here. This is to enable you get a perfect curve. You can make this curve with your free hand, or you can use your pattern master like I'm doing here. If your pattern master works fine, then you use it. If it doesn't, just go ahead and use your free hand to create this curve. Now, once you're done creating this crouch curve, the next thing you want to do is to take your measurements down. So I'm going to measure what I have from here all the way to the side of my pant, and what I had was about 14.5 inches. So I'm taking this all the way down. Now, if you want your trouser to become smaller as it goes down, you can reduce the measurement as you go down, or if you want it to be bigger as it goes down, you can increase it as you go down as well. But for this one, I just decided I wanted it to go all the way straight down. So what I did was use the measurement I had on the crouch line and took it all the way down. So with this, we are basically done drafting out the front pattern, I'm just going to go ahead and cut it out. As you can see, I'll give about 1/2 inch around the crotch area, as you can see. And then for the other side, since we already have a lot of extension, we've already added enough allowances to the side, I'm just going to go ahead and cut exactly on this line, and then I'll cut on the bottom area as well. So this is it for the front pattern. Once you're through with this, you can just go ahead and slip this area into two, because the front patterns are supposed to be 2 pieces and not 1. So because of the way we folded it, just go ahead and separate it into 2. So now we're going to be using the front pattern to cut out the back pieces. So guys, to cut out the back pieces, you will need to also fold your fabric into 2 as well. But the fold that you're going to be making for the back should be even bigger than what you did for the front pattern, so that when you place the front pattern on it, you would have extra allowances in front, because the back piece is always bigger than the front. Okay, so you should still have some space in front even after placing your front pattern on it like this. Also, you want to make sure you have about 2.5 inches above your waistline for the front, for you to be able to draft out your back pattern. Now once you have all of this ready, we are going to go ahead and start. So from the front pattern on the crotch area here, go up by about 2 inches. So I'm going to be using 2 inches here. If you're someone who has a very big bum, you can use about 2.5 inches. Okay, now from this side, I'll come out by 2 inches, and I'll just extend it to make that 2 inches that I came up by before. On this hip line and on the crotch line as well, I'll just extend both of them by 2 inches, and I'm just basically going to be creating a new crouch. Okay, so now the back crouch is like 2 inches away from the front one. Okay, just like you see me doing like this. I'm just using my free hand now to connect the crouch. Now once you're through with this, the next thing you want to do is on the waist area. Despite the fact that you're increasing the waist of the back, the side area of the front and back has to be exactly the same. Okay, so what you would do is from the top of the waistline at the back here, just connect to meet the waist on the side at the front pattern. It's nothing serious, just follow what I did here and do exactly the same thing. So connect down to meet the side of the waist in front, so that the front and the back will be exactly the same thing there. Now once you're through with this, from the front pattern, just extend the front by 2 extra inches into the back pattern. The back is always bigger because that's where you have your bum, and that area is bigger. All right, so with that being said, I'm just extending it by 2 inches, as you can see. So basically all the extensions that I did to the back pattern were by an extra 2 inches, and I'm just extending it all the way down, as you can see. And then finally the length of the front and the back will be exactly the same thing. The sides will be the same thing. The only areas that are different is the waist area that you go up by at the center, and then the crotch area that you come out by 2 inches, and then the center of the back pattern that you come out by 2 inches as well. Once you've done that, just go ahead and cut it out, following exactly as you see me doing like this. Now the bottom part and the sides of both the front and the back will be exactly the same thing. So now guys, once you're done cutting it out, we're going to start our sewing. For the front pattern, I'm going to just go ahead and sew all the way around the crotch from here all the way down like this. Now for the back pattern, I'm not going to be starting from the top. I'm going to measure about 10 inches down. That's where I'm going to be starting from. So from this 10 inches point here, I'll just sew down. The upper part will be left open because I'm going to be having a zipper at the back. Only the front will be stitched down fully. So I'm going to do this now and show you guys what I mean. So it's been stitched down, and this is what I mean. The front has been stitched down fully, as you can see. We started from the top here, but for the back I started from 10 inches below because there's going to be a zipper at the top. Now for this trouser, there is no dart or anything like that. Okay, so this is how far we've gone. Now let's go ahead and cut out the pockets. Now for the pockets, I have this fabric. It's currently folded into 2, as you can see, and I have 2 pieces of it. So this is going to help me cut out the 2 pockets for the both sides of this trouser. On this side, I have it 10 inches, and on the other side, I have about 12.5 inches. So on the longer side, I'm going to mark come down by about 1 inch and mark, and then mark 8 inches below that point. So in between these 2 points that I made, I'm going to just put my hand like you see me doing like this. It's just a freehand method, and I'm going to go ahead and create a curve that looks like a pocket, just like you see me doing like this. So I'm creating a curve to meet the 2 points together like this. So this my pocket actually is very big now that I'm looking at it, but it's okay, it works, it did the work. So yeah, so once you're done with this, just go ahead and cut it out. So after you're done cutting, you're going to have 4 pieces total, and you're going to take 2 each for both sides of the pocket. Now to fix the pockets, you will be using the pockets to actually join the sides. So this is the front pattern and this is the back. Remember that the back we did not finish the joining of the curved area, right? So now place the front and the back pieces together, right sides facing each other on this side. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to be placing my pocket here, okay? So now to place our pocket here, on the pieces that I placed together, right sides facing each other, that's the trouser part, I'm just going to come down by 1 inch. And from this point, I'll come down by 8 inches as well. And what I would just do is make a notch here and make a notch at this upper part as well that I made a mark so that it shows on both sides. Now, what I'll do is I'll pick the front pattern separately and put one side of the pocket like this, and pick the back pattern separately and put the pocket as well. But you want to make sure that you're placing them exactly on that notch that you made, okay? So I've done it for one. I'll do the exact same thing on this other side. So exactly from where the notch is starting from, so that when you go over and stitch this down, it will be perfect, okay? So on the sewing machine, I will go ahead and stitch down these areas that I'm currently pinning down right now first. So I will stitch down these areas that I've pinned down here and on the other one. So I will now have my pattern pieces looking like this. So once I'm through with this, what I will now do is to join everything together. Now, the pocket opening that I want to have at the end of the day is 7 inches. So I have marked the pocket opening, and I am now marking all the areas I am going to be stitching down on the sewing machine like this. So basically, this is how I'll follow it up on my sewing machine. So I would go ahead and start from the waist, go around the pocket, and then continue with the side of the trouser. So this 7 inches opening here, I am going to leave it open. I am not going to be like stitching this opening here. So after I'm done with the first stitch, which is to join the pockets to each part, I'm just going to go ahead and stitch all the way around, and I'll do the same thing for the other side as well. So guys, we're done with this side, and this is what it looks like. Okay, so I made my stitch and I've stitched down all the way around the pocket area. Now if I place my hand from the inside, I have my pocket opening there, and I've done the exact same thing on this other side as well. And I've just gone ahead to pin down the center back, the area where we're going to be fixing our zipper, so that it's quite easier to work with. Now once you're through with this, you're going to come down to the crotch area of your trouser, and we're going to be joining this side of the trouser. So I'll start with the crotch here. I'll pin the front and the back pieces together, and I will extend my pins to the rest of the opening that we have here. So just watch what I'm doing and do exactly the same thing.
It's your time. Don't be held back again. You need to resist.
So I'm going to go ahead and stitch around the areas that I've pinned down right now, as you can see. And once I'm through with that, I'm just going to go ahead and finish the hem of the trouser part, so that when we get back, we'll go straight to the waist area and start working on the pinafore up there. So this is the trouser area done with the hem already folded, as you can see. And this is the pockets that we fixed earlier. So now this is how far we've gone. I'm going to be leaving this side right now, and we're going to be working on the upper part. Now when you're trying to figure out the length of the upper part, what your half length is, that's your shoulder to waist, is what you would need for the upper part. So that will complete this to make it into a jumpsuit, right? So my half length is about 17 inches. So I am going to now use that to now determine what the upper part would be. So first thing I went ahead to do was to make the ropes that I'm going to be using for this pinafore, and this is almost 2 inches wide. I've already folded it from the inside, and the length that I currently have here is 30 inches, and I have 2 of them. This is how they are going to cross at the back, okay, and then they will come forward somehow like this. So I need to create the square that is going to work the front for me. So now let's go ahead and cut that one out. So now for the square that we have in front, I have a piece of fabric folded into 2 as well. And I folded it again. Now it's in a fold into 4. Now when you fold this, you want to make sure it's going to be at least enough to give you your nipple to nipple measurement. So my nipple to nipple measurement is 4 inches, but I'm going to be marking this at 5.5 inches here. Okay, as it's in the fold, right? And then I'm just going to take this all the way down and then mark this up here. Now for the height of that square fabric you see in front, depends on how tall you are actually. So for me, I'm going to be using about 12.5 inches here, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and draw this across. So I can decide to leave this as it is like this, and it just looks like straight all over on all corners. But what I want to do is at the top, I came in on this smaller side by 1 inch, and I will just connect it back into the rest of the body like this to just give it a nice curve around the neckline area. So once I'm through with this, I'm just going to go ahead and cut it out. Just look at what I'm doing. It's very simple. Just follow it and you will have something that looks exactly like this. Now, when you open this up, can you see what it looks like? So on the neckline area, it kind of looks smaller. So I will just go over to the sewing machine and make a stitch all the way around with about 1/2 inch, just like I'm marking all the way around. I will not be stitching the straight part, just these areas that I marked, and I'll be right back. So this is what I had after I was done stitching it all the way around, and I've turned it over to the right side now and ironed it out. So can you have an idea now of what this is going to look like with our ropes like this? Okay, so this is literally what it's going to look like. So I'll go ahead and pin. I went ahead to pin the back ropes down on the front square that I have, and this is kind of like what I have right now. Now this upper part might be too long right now, but what you use to adjust that is the rope. So what I have here is about 19 inches. So if I adjust the rope a bit, like shift it down a bit, I can get it to like 18 or even reduce it even more. Now I'm going to leave this here. The adjustments that I'll be doing will be much later, and I can always do it on the neckline area. So now we're going to work on the band. Remember, we've been extending our pattern seams by an extra 1.5 inch. Now this is time to replace that back, okay? So what I have here is actually 2.5 inches. That is extra 1 inch for allowances. And then for the length, what you will need is you need to measure around the waist of your trouser. So I'm going to go ahead and measure around the waist of my trouser to know how long I need the band to be. So I measured 49 inches, and what I'm going ahead to do is to just cut this out at 50 inches. Now another thing you will notice about this band is I didn't just cut it in a fold. I didn't just fold my fabric into 2. You can see that there are 2 pieces of this band here, okay? Now there's a reason for that, because we have an upper part which is the pinafore, and we have the bottom part. I went ahead to open this band on both sides. So I have 2 pieces of fabrics that I'm going to be using for this band. You guys are going to see how I work it to become a band again, but you'll be cutting out 2 pieces, okay? Don't just fold your fabric into 2 and just use it like a band as though you are making a trouser, okay? So once you're done cutting out your band, just go ahead and make a notch at the middle of your band and then open it up. Like I said, you would have 2 pieces for your band. Now also you bring the pinafore, and on the square area, I keep calling it square, but let's just keep calling it that, mark the middle as well. So what you're going to do now, once you've marked the middle, place the square area in between your band. Like I said, cut out 2 pieces for your band and not just 1. So match the middle of the band with the middle of the square piece that you've cut out for the center front, like you see me doing like this. Make sure all of them are put together like I'm doing here, and then just go ahead and pin it down. So that way you will have your square piece in between the two band pieces. So this is what it looks like. This is kind of like an idea of what our band is going to look like when we are done. So now for the area where I'm going to be placing our ropes at the back, I will just also arrange my band as well, and I'll measure. So I'm going to come in here by about 5 inches from the back of the band. Just watch, and I'll make a notch here. Okay, so now when I open it up, I can now place my rope here. So the way I'll place my rope, because I want it to cross at the back, I'm not going to be placing it straight. I'm going to let it slant a bit. Okay, so as you can see, I'll place it here, and I'm just going to go ahead and pin it down. You can see I'm making it slant a bit towards the end of the band. So let it slant towards the end of the band a bit. Don't let it just go straight. Okay, so once you're through with this, you're going to pin the rest of the band down, and you're going to do the exact same thing for the other end. So at the middle, you will have your square piece, and at the end, 5 inches away from the end, that's the zipper area of this band, you would have a rope that you're going to be placing there. So please just take note of what I'm doing and do exactly the same thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and pin this down as well.
This fire is burning.
So now I'll go over to the sewing machine and make a straight stitch on all the areas that I've pinned down, and then iron it out. So guys, after I was done making my stitch and ironing, this is what it looks like. Okay, if we turn it over, you see how the band is looking like. So now we have it looking like an actual band, but we've stitched the other things that we needed to stitch to it. Now also another thing, remember I told you guys earlier that this upper part is going to be having an elastic, because the person that owns this wanted it to be a bit freer on the sides. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to be cutting out the elastic that we're going to be placing on the side of this upper part. I really hope that you guys understand what we've done here. Okay, so on this side, we're going to be placing an elastic here. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut out the elastic that we're going to be placing there now. So I cut out 2 elastic each. It should be about 4.5 inches long or more, depending on how long the area you're going to be placing it is and how much of fabric you want to gather together. Okay, so I want to take it from one end to the other end. So I want to take it from the square fabric in front to the rope that we have for the back. So this is how much of the area that I want to gather together around the waist. Okay, so I have it here like this, and I'm going to also do the same thing here. So just take the band, open the band into 2. On the part that is facing towards the back, just go ahead and pin your band down like this, and then just take it down very close to the front square fabric like this. Your fabric is going to fold in a very weird way, but don't worry. Just go ahead and first of all make top stitches to secure this down on both sides, and then after which we will now go ahead and make a straight stitch to join these pieces together. So guys, I have stitched it down here. I stitched it on the part that is going to be facing the back, not the part that will be facing me in front. Okay, so this is what it looks like. If I extend my elastic, you can see it goes in, but right now because we've not stitched down the bottom of the band, you're seeing the elastic. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over to the sewing machine now and stitch all over the bottom of the band, extending my elastic as I sew. So this is what I meant. So I went ahead to just stitch down the bottom of the band. So the elastic is now forced to stay inside, and it now makes that area to have the side ruffle and makes the waist smaller. So this is how to go about adding your elastic to a band that looks like this. Okay, it's very simple. Now, once you're through with this, the next thing you want to do is you're going to be attaching this upper part to the trouser part. So go ahead and make a notch at the center front of the upper part like I've done here, and then pin it to the center front of the trouser. And then once you're through with this, just go ahead and pin the band all the way around the rest of the waist of the trouser. Now, that area that you have your elastic, the length has not reduced. When you get there, just extend the elastic, just like you see me doing like this, and just pin it with the fabric. It's going to still fit into the waist, okay? The elastic does not change the length that you have there. So I'm just going to keep pinning this band on the way around. Do it for the other side, and then I'll just go over to the sewing machine and stitch down the areas that I'm pinning down right now. So my loves, after I was done making my stitches, this is what it looks like. Can you see how the elastic is featured on the sides of the trouser? And this is what our rope is looking like at the back. It's still having its cross thing going on at the back. And last thing I need to do now is to go ahead and fix a zipper to that opening that we had earlier on the center back of the trouser. Remember, I told you guys that I was not going to start the crouch from the upper part. I came down by 10 inches. So the space that we created with that, I'm just going to go ahead and fix a zipper on there. So guys, after I was done fixing the zipper, this is what it looks like, as you can see. And then we have our waist looking nice, and then we have our crisscross going on here at the back. And now when you turn it over to the front, you can now arrange the rope. Now it's the rope that you use to adjust the neckline area. Now if you want buttons, some people actually feel comfortable having buttons show in front. Okay, if you want buttons to show in front, you can go ahead and place your button. Now you can measure the length that you want your half length to be. My half length is 17 inches. So from here, I can now use the rope to adjust to where I want it to be, or I can just leave it like this. So I'm pinning it down like this for now. I'm going to take it to the dress form and put it on the dress form pinned down. Now for this area, if you don't want any buttons to show at all, just go ahead and fix it to face the back. But if you're okay with your buttons showing in front, you can fix it so that the button comes outside. But if you do not want any of that, you can just go ahead and use press buttons, something that will not necessarily show in front when you cover it up. Okay, so that's how you go about this area. So with that being said, you're basically done with the making of this pinafore, and this is what it looks like with our elastic on the waist. So I went ahead to pin it on my dress form like I said I was going to do, and this is what I have. It is very beautiful. It is simple, and honestly I hope that you guys actually find this tutorial helpful. Thank you so much guys for watching. I will definitely be seeing you guys in my next one. If you're still here to subscribe, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.